The financial powers of the world revolve around a 26 square block area of lower Manhattan. There are banks, brokerage houses, and commodities markets where everything from sugar to coffee to cocoa is traded. But more business is done along one small stretch of pavement than anywhere else.
Wall Street, perhaps one of the best-known streets in the country. It might only be 6 blocks in length, but what happens here affects the world.
At the heart of Wall Street is the New York Stock Exchange, and it pulses to the beat of money.
Does anybody else want to sell stock today?
This is the image you see on the nightly news. To most people, it just seems like mass confusion. What they're actually doing is buying and selling stock, shares of ownership in a company. Think of it like this: ongoing auctions for each of the 3,100 companies listed here.
There's 70 million Americans that own stock directly. Another 30 or 40 million who've got pension plans or IRAs or something else that owns stock. This is a country where everyone's got a piece of it.
We were given exclusive entree when Chairman and CEO Richard Grasso took us behind the closed doors of the New York Stock Exchange.
Each day, $39 billion are traded here. Most of us can't even fathom that kind of a number. What does that mean to you?
It's like a department store that opens its doors and rings up on the register $39 billion worth of commerce.
Although there's no cash inside, this place is secure. Any disruption of business could send shockwaves through world economies. So police patrol 24 hours a day. Streets are barricaded to traffic. A state-of-the-art mobile X-ray unit scans every single package coming in, including food, which can only be carried in by clerks with security clearance.
Our economic model is truly the envy of the rest of the world. And unfortunately today, there are those around the world who might want to inflict harm upon Americans and upon the American way of life. And this is, unfortunately, a very important symbol that they would like to target.
Due to the far-reaching impact of Wall Street, security is a reality of doing business. And here at the New York Stock Exchange, that reality goes far beyond metal detectors and ID badges.
So as to not compromise the safety of the exchange, there are some things we agreed not to reveal. What we can tell you is that armed guards are posted at every door. Before the exchange even opens, bomb-sniffing dogs sweep the trading room floor. Experts check hundreds of computers for infectious viruses that could cripple trading. Once the building is secured, traders take to the floor. In a decades-old tradition, I had the honor of ringing the bell that starts trading every morning.
Over 800 million shares of stock change hands daily, and it all starts at exactly 9:30.
Volume has grown so much that trading of all stocks now takes place in 3 rooms: the main floor, the blue room, and one called the garage, which combined are about the size of a football field.
27-4 at 4, you're out on the bounce.
Lining the perimeter of the floor are the brokerage offices. Barely the size of a walk-in closet, there are no doors, no windows, no chairs. This is where orders to buy or sell come. If it's less than 3,000 shares, it's handled by computers. Traders handle the rest. But since every moment can be worth millions, traders stay on the floor. Food is eaten either standing up or on the run.
298, sold 10,000.
Traders speak in their own language, a highly efficient shorthand. Here they're bidding on shares of Micron Technology, known by its symbol, MU.
I bought 3,000, 7 and 8. I'm BRC number 20.
This man just bought 3,000 shares at $57 1/8 through the company BRC, and his ID badge number is 20.
I'll sell you some. I'll sell you 20.
In order to play, you must have a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. Instead of a chair, you buy the right to hang out a shingle, which is your identification badge. Cost? Up to $2.6 million.
This is a place of very high morals and ethics, and we trade millions and millions of dollars a day between ourselves without a battery of lawyers, without signing any contracts. It's all done on this number. This is what makes us tick, because we trade with each other, human to human, or even human to machine, but somebody has to write that number. And this is what we live by, our badge number.
10,006 and 8.
Coats and ties for men are mandatory. Some choose to wear colored coats so they can be spotted across the crowded floor by their brokerage house.
3,000. Sold.
Trader Gail Pankey has worked the floor for 28 years and opened her own firm 7 years ago. She's one of only 46 women on the floor among 1,320 men who play this high-stakes game.
This is like a little pressure cooker. You never know when it's going to turn. You know, 1 minute it can be incredibly fast, and the next minute it can be very slow. You know, you're moving from first gear to fifth gear without going through the rest of them.
At the core of the exchange are 17 computer islands, or trading posts. Each one handles 150 stocks. Orders to buy and sell from all over the world are directed here to a specialist.
800 shares of PBIs trade 9 and 4.
Robert Fagenson handles Disney, Harley-Davidson, Tiffany, and more than 100 others. Think of him as an auctioneer right in the middle of the madness, ensuring that trading proceeds in a fair and orderly fashion.
Sold.
This is a big money business, high risk. It involves people, emotions, and their money. There's nothing more volatile than that.
You obviously see people here lose vast amounts of money. How does it feel when you see that happen?
We've got $2.5 billion worth of technology powering it, but this is a people business. And you feel as badly for someone you know who's got a problem as you would anywhere else. You feel really bad when it's you.
Well, when you go home and say, honey, I had a bad day, how much might a bad day be?
We don't do that anymore. When we first got married, I'd come home one night and say, it's champagne and caviar, and the next night, how much do you think we can get for the furniture? After 2 months, my wife said, enough of that. You've either got to learn to deal with this or forget about it. And you learn to deal with it.
A specialist job can be very risky, but also very rewarding. They can earn in the millions.
And there are people who have good years and people who have bad years, and sometimes it can be determined by a single trade.
Newberg, 10,11. 5 for 30,000 more.
Sold it 5,000.
With fortunes at stake, there's no on-the-job training. Aspiring traders must learn their skills after hours during mock trading sessions, which mimic the extremes of what they might encounter. But for the first time, they set one up for us in the middle of the business day.
She took 25,000. Anyone else?
My assignment was to buy 75,000 shares of Panavision, known as PVI, at the best price.
10,005.
But like any auction, I was up against other buyers, all with their own marching orders.
15,000 sold at 5 right there. She bought him. How many?
Who's a buyer?
What's your offer?
You're buying 20.
In this bedlam, you have to learn to listen. I found it difficult to keep track of who had what to sell.
So I'll take the 25.
She took 25,000. Sold to you 25,000.
As the auction heated up, I got an unexpected phone call from the brokerage house I was representing. I was told to buy more.
Another 50.
Can anyone offer stock? You trade 20.
Soon, I had the feeling I had bought enough, but I admit I lost track of exactly how many shares I had bought. A very dangerous and common mistake for a new trader.
Another 100,000. You're out? She's canceled.
All right, now what just happened? Because I had my original order here to buy 75,000 of PVI.
What happened was there were enough sellers to sell you your stock. You kept getting called into the phone because they wanted you to buy more. You actually bought 375,000.
Right.
If this were real, according to the rules of the exchange, within 24 hours, my brokerage firm would have to deliver a check for $3,750,000.
The check's in the mail. When you go to any function, certainly any cocktail party, the one question you must hear is, got a stock tip?
Well, actually, at most cocktail parties, I introduce myself as a florist.
Because you don't want to be asked that question.
Well, I think in fairness, no stock exchange chairman in the 207 years of our history has ever had a view about a stock or about the market. And if they have, they've quickly become former chairman of the exchange.
With the world economy at stake, the New York Stock Exchange makes it their business to safeguard against power shortages, terrorist attacks, computer malfunctions, even acts of God. Behind closed doors exist 2 state-of-the-art emergency backup facilities, which until now have never been seen before.
Both are in New York, but the exact locations must remain a secret. We can tell you that one of them is not even in Manhattan. Inside are some of the fastest running computers in the world, constantly and instantaneously backing up each of the millions of trades. If there were ever a devastating power outage like the one in 1977 that plunged Manhattan into darkness, it would not cripple the New York Stock Exchange. If one of the backup sites goes down, the other automatically takes over and runs the entire exchange.
Observations.
Power outages and terrorists aren't the only threats to the market. Anyone with access to confidential information could manipulate the price of a stock and easily threaten the stability of the New York Stock Exchange.
The one major thing this exchange has to sell is integrity. And when people come into this market, they should believe that they're getting a fair price and that they're not going to be taken advantage of by people who have inside information.
The ultimate closed door is StockWatch, the policing agency for the market, seen here for the first time on primetime television. They scrutinize every single trade every day, looking for suspicious trading.
We've had several cases where we've seen a spike in trading before there's an announcement of a merger. And we will go back and ask all of the people who knew about the merger and when they knew about it.
And their investigations have led to felony arrests for insider trading.
We have brought cases against lawyers, against accountants. We've brought cases against senior executives. And so we see all kinds of people that get involved in these kind of activities.
Despite the elaborate security measures, the one thing they can't prevent is an economic crisis. The market is still haunted by the 1929 crash, which plunged the nation into the Great Depression. Nearly 60 years later, the market was rocked again on October 19, 1987, a day known as Black Monday.
The last Dow Jones count we have today is down 508 points, but they are still counting on Wall Street.
The market value dropped more than $500 billion that one day. So in case of a market meltdown, computers now stop all trading for an hour. The crisis is evaluated right here at the nerve center of the exchange in a place called the Ramp. Behind the closed doors of this phone box, Richard Grasso has a direct line to the President of the United States.
It's designed to allow the President, his advisors, direct access to talk to me so that I can give them, in essence, the color commentary of what's happening on the field of play.
And that field of play continues to be hotter than ever. On March 29, 1999, the exchange celebrated a milestone when the Dow Jones, a formula for measuring market performance, closed at over 10,000 points.
What's the best part of your job?
When that bell rings in the morning, I never know what it's going to be. It's excitement, it's invigorating, and you're at risk.
4 o'clock, the traditional pounding of the gavel brings trading to a close.
What do you think would surprise people the most about what's behind this closed door?
That the small customer gets the same treatment as the big customer, and this isn't a rich person's game anymore. 10 years ago, who watched the business news? Who cared what the Dow Jones? Who knew what it was? And today, it's ma and pa, it's apple pie. We're proud of what we do. It's not that we weren't before, but no one cared. Today, we're really a piece of America, and we're a piece of the world.
The New York Stock Exchange behind closed doors.
I'd like to extend my personal thanks to all those who helped us gain unprecedented access to make this special possible. Please join us next time when once again we go behind closed doors. I'm Joan Lunden. Good evening, America.